Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Clementine, you're you. This is my channel, Clementine Creative. If you're here for the first time, welcome to the neighborhood. Oh my god. Seriously, sometimes I'm wondering if this is truly an art channel. Welcome back if you've been here for a while now. I'm back with another video every Friday, so, if you've been keeping up to date to my YouTube channel, videos come up every freaking Friday. They're just flying out of the space, and they fall on your computer, and then you watch them. They are, if you subscribe to my channel, the little subscription thing will say, yeah, a new video came from space, man. But no, let's just focus on the actual recording that's happening in the background, I guess. I guess my voice is not the background, it's the actual visual part of this video. I am back with another video, like I said before, and I want to get some, things cleared out or out of the way before I, continue this. I'm a little bit ill, or sickly, whatever is the word that you prefer to use to describe someone's health thing, falling down, you know what I'm trying to say. Whatever is the word that you prefer. I'm a little bit ill, so my voice might sound a little bit weird, but hopefully that won't be an issue. I also want to talk about, if you have really huge problems with watching stuff rotate really fast on the screen, that might be a problem, because this video has a lot of that, I think, and I'm again sorry for that. It's the rotating tool. I got so much accustomed to it, which I think it's only natural that somebody would be using it, considering that if you're drawing traditionally you turn paper or whatever. So rotation tool is really that same kind of a feel that you got in traditional, except just turning the canvas, so you don't have to turn your tablet or whatever, so that's obviously a lot better. Those are the two things I wanted to get out of the way. Maybe if you hear some background noise, like some weird stuff or my cats or whatever, just ignore that. Just listen to my beautiful voice. Whatever. Let's go into this. So what is this? This is last week's sketch that I did. You can see it in the background while behind the actual color or the paint. And now I'm going to paint this character. So the process, like I always say, is the same as always. It's nothing new, I didn't experiment with any new techniques. I don't want to, because I'm still afraid to go out of my comfort zone, to discover some new things. And I'm pretty comfortable with this, and I feel very confident in this way of painting, I guess. I always tend to keep my paws where they're supposed to be. I don't try to reach out for new things. And I said pause, isn't that cute? So I'm kind of trying to experiment with colors here. As you can see, basically her clothing, like the maid dress that she has, or I don't know what that would be called, but I guess it's a maid dress. Instead of making it black and white, which is usually the color, and by black and white I mean like the black part is black, and then it goes to gray and white, depending on the light. I made it green here, slightly greenish blue. I didn't want to go completely like just grayscale. I thought it would add an interesting depth to the actual dress, so that's what I was kind of thinking here. Then I also, this foot or leg, the entire leg, don't even, this is just like an experimental thing. Really, at this stage, I never actually intended to go do the legs already. So there's a lot of things about this character that now that I look at it, I would definitely want to change, and a lot of things that I regret now that I don't know how to do very well, which is draw, let's say, hands and feet. These are one of the things that are very hard to draw, and I feel like every artist is struggling with those at least one point in their life. They're just, because of their complex positioning, they're very hard to draw from memory, and sometimes even I have too much pride, and then I don't really want to reference it, because when I'm thinking, man, I'm already this long in the art and I still don't know how to draw like hands, and I'm like getting, man, I ain't gonna go on the internet and reference them. And pride gets the best of me, and I don't think that's a very good idea. You should always reference when you can. Referencing is very good. It helps you create things the way they actually look like. So I think I should have actually, instead of being very proud or whatever, I should have just went on internet, threw in some hands, and just draw them, which is how you probably should approach this. The only way you learn something is by referencing it and drawing it correctly and understanding it. A lot of people think that if you just draw something a million times over, you'll know how to create it, and that is true. You will know. And Fang Zhu, you can see me referencing to Fang Zhu's words a lot in these videos, and that's just because I learned so much from watching his videos, and his words mean a lot. So basically he said that is muscle memory, and that is true. That is muscle memory. It's where you basically try something for a lot of times, and then eventually you'll get it right, because just your hand will know the exact posture they need to create, or basically you'll know, but your hand will create the exact posture they need to make to get this shape in, right? So really you haven't learned anything, because when you have to draw a hand from a different angle, you're in the dark, because you only learn how to draw, let's say, a hand in the front, like a regular thing, but fingers moving and you're already in the dark. So if you understand how something is made, you'll be able to draw it from any single angle you want. So you won't be obscured by just one angle, because you'll understand how something is made. Now, understanding something is a process of its own, and I think it's like actually harder than muscle memory. So muscle memory is like you draw it out 100 times and you'll know how to do it, and that's pretty easy, drawing a hand 100 times. But understanding something is a completely different thing. But you should always learn with understanding. If you understand how something is created, how something stands, you'll be able to draw it, and you won't have any problems drawing it from any angle, because you understand. So if this works like that, you know how it works from the other side as well, since you know how it works from the front. I'm pretty sure you know what I mean, but I did probably explain it in a very complicated manner, but hopefully you get it. So always try to learn things from the understanding point of view, and I feel like that's where I lack when it comes to drawing hands and feet and things like that. Even the face is still not the best, but with practice you get there. And remember, artists' biggest weapon, and not just artists, even like programmers and everybody who has a lot of work where you basically need to put in a lot of hours to get good at, their secret powerful weapon is always going to be and has been persistence. If you're persistent in something, eventually you'll get it right, because when you're so persistent that you're thinking to yourself, man, I don't want to stop until I know this, and you're persistent in doing that, eventually you'll get it right? So that's how it basically works. It's just like muscle memory, I guess, in a way, just persistence. So always be, and I'm using the word persistence constantly right now, but just bear with me. Be persistent. Be persistent a lot, because this business is, a lot of it is persistent based. So if you're just gonna give up after 2 days or 1 day because you just couldn't draw something, then you're probably not gonna make it, because it's not everything is always gonna be going your way. Waves don't always go in your favor. If you're sailing with a ship and the wind is not always gonna blow in your direction, or should I say in the direction that you want to for it to blow. So obviously you're gonna need to get accustomed to certain changes, to certain circumstances, and being persistent really helps with that. If you can't get something right, you just are, as long as you keep going at it, and eventually you get it right, and eventually you'll evolve. And the only way you learn is through mistakes, because you see, okay, that's where I made the mistake. If I change that, I'll get it right. The next time you get it right, you've learned, you evolved. So that's how a lot of things in life work, not just art. But art is a very good example. But let's again go a little bit back on the background painting that is happening. You're right now seeing me add in this oh gosh, I don't even know what it's called. Apron. Oh my god, I don't even know. This white thing that prevents you from getting yourself dirty or whatever. Here you're seeing me getting some references for a burned paper. I'll need that later because this design, the client basically wanted for her to be kind of, you know, cray-cray. He wanted for her clothes to be on fire, you know, as if she was caught in many explosions. Or burned, basically. He wanted it to be burned. But I thought that it would look really nice if her clothes was still a little bit on fire, you know, had that little edges going on like I did here. This is just like a little test. I didn't actually, you know, draw this in. This one didn't actually look that good. In the end, it looks a little bit better. This kind of looks like, you know, meh. This was just like a simple test. So sometimes I actually test things out before I do them. You know, just on different parts, you know, I feel like if I need to try something out, I'll just try it out, you know, it's not that big of a loss anyways. So this character, in total took me, I think, about 8 hours to paint. And I'm pretty satisfied with the time drop because although I do think that the quality of the character may not be exactly as high as, let's say, Bullet, you know, the character from 1, 2, 3, you know, 3 videos ago, you know, so the 4th video back is actually Bullet, I think. I feel like that design made is actually a lot more polished, but I might just be mistaken here. I do actually like this one a lot too because of certain elements or details that are implemented in the actual painting itself. So, you know, everybody has their own tastes. What I didn't like about this design, I'm just gonna throw it out there. You're also gonna see some of the elements I named now later. One thing I didn't like was definitely her, you know, the skirt, the white part is kind of weird and it just didn't suit. That, you know, it could have been better, but, you know, like I said, with practice, I'll definitely get better with, you know, drawing these sort of like skirts, or, you know, just this design that has multiple layers coming out. So we have that, and now I'm actually going to the feet. So feet, actual legs, not feet, not just feet, everyone, legs. I did some weird shadow thing over here because the leg looked like she's like kind of like broken out, which is like wrong. I will change that. I think it actually already looks better now, but there's still gonna be some shadow changes on this part. I'm gonna have some troubles with the foot on the leg that is actually standing, but, you know, I'll get it right after a couple of tries. I'll actually sketch it out. Sometimes when I don't know how to draw something, I sketch them out, you know, things I sketch in the line art, and then I just fill them in with paint and I shade them. So it completely slipped my mind. I actually didn't name all the elements that I didn't like about this piece. I speak so fast, like I have this tendency of speaking so fast, I sometimes just move on to a different theme without really thinking, so sorry for that. One thing that I also didn't like is the hands. So I didn't like how the hands turned out and all the fingers and everything. But, you know, sometimes you just have to go with what you got, you know. I didn't want to spend a million years just on that part alone. And I guess the foot is also, it could have been better. I think that right now it's gonna look really weird, but I'm gonna make it better later. But there are also elements that I really like about this character. For one, the sword, or the it's actually a knife. It's a bread cutting knife. And I think it looks really badass in the end. I made some visual effects on it, and I think they look pretty badass. And for every, you know, kind of a part that she is using, I have a really good story behind it too. Even though it's not exactly my character, there's still a certain amount of freedom that I do dare to take. You know, backstory is, you know, basically for her, it has been already achieved or whatever. You know, it's been foresaid what it is. But, you know, her powers or whatever is something that I think the author actually left up to me. Let's say the tattoos that she will have later will imply on what powers she's actually capable of using. So right now I'm dropping in this arm, and you'll see that this arm is gonna, actually it's gonna change from, you know, this muffin that she has on the top, like a little muffin. She's actually gonna hold dough. and that dough is now it's gonna be like really orange and almost like a fire, just like basically she's holding it in her hand. It is magic dough, so whatever I do right now at this point is very hard to miss, but I didn't want to use some colors that would imply that this is a dough. Imply what? I don't know what that word is, but let's go back and say that again. I wanted it to use colors that would kind of remind you of something that would be a dough consistency. So if I were to go with blue color, which is usually the color of magic, right? That wouldn't look that right, because you would be feeling like, okay, that's some weird slimy water or something. But if it's like orange, you're like, okay, it's some kind of a fire consistency thing. And if I say, oh, it's dough, and you're like, oh, it's some magic dough that's like been heating up really badly and it's not really red and yellow, you'll see how it looks like. Oh, one thing I also did like about this design are these sleeves. They look very nice. There's just like a little touch. It looks very anime-like. there's no actual purpose behind these except that it kind of makes it look cute. These sleeves, they're just take it, man. Don't question reality in a world of concept art. Let's see what else is there that I can talk about. There's gonna be some things I'm gonna change about her right arm, but not that. Not those, not very huge things. Her hand is gonna change, obviously. The knife. Oh, and also, what's gonna change is her hat. Now, this hat kind of look cool, but as I painted it, it didn't fit, and I just kind of, scratched it, and I made a little beret, which is, I think, something that pastry chefs use more than actual cooking hats, and that turned out to be a radical success compared to the actual chef's hat. So I also didn't add the buttons on her, the white part she has that goes down from her boobs to her belt. There were supposed to be buttons up there, but when I drew them, or painted them in this case, it just didn't work, and I just scratched it. If it doesn't work, just scratch it out. Don't try to force it in because of your initial sketch or whatever. It might have looked good on the line art, but it didn't look that good on, on the actual painting later. But yeah, this piece is slowly coming together. Here I added a shadow. It seemed so annoying to me that this character was just standing in, basically flying, because she wasn't grounded, she was grounded as if she did something bad. No, she didn't, she wasn't placed on any certain ground. She was technically, but we didn't get that feel because there was no shadow, no nothing, and basically it had a feeling like she could just fly off the canvas. Here you're seeing me throwing the hands, and I just skipped this footage because it's like way too long. It's like an hour-long footage. I'm kind of I have this, I was ill a little bit, and my head hurt like hell right here. I could literally feel like the blood popping in my veins. It was so annoying, and I could barely concentrate, and it took me an hour to throw these in, and they still look like crap, basically. So that part is the one that I regret a lot. But sometimes, like I said, just roll with it. You'll learn from mistakes. And now I'm doing this though, and you'll see I really like how it turned out. These kind of spiral things or whatever that's happening kind of indicates they're just like moving around as she's gonna, like, it's charging up, and she's gonna create a certain pastry element, pastry product, maybe like some kind of a cookie or muffin or whatever, but really also gives off the effect like it's gonna be some sort of an explosion. So here you saw me create the arm is completely red. It's like it's actually shining a little bit. What I was thinking here is that she has the power of fire, right? That's even written here in runes. I really like that kind of a look to it, and I decided that, obviously things like that can be debated, and they can also never make it in the actual design later on. But what I liked about this idea was that, whenever she would use her powers to, let's say, bake something, she would basically she would bake them with her hands, right? She has heat in her hands, and they would just the fire would just rise up in her arm, and it would kind of make her arm go red and yellow, like it was on heat, like a, you know, like a metal. Metal, when it gets heated up really bad, it's like reddish, you know, it's already shining red. That's what kind of her arm would look like. It would be very hot also. So she could use this as punching, I guess, but I don't know why she would be punching someone. But then also it can be used as, you know, as baking element, you know, baking power, and it would turn her hands red. And I think that that was kind of a cool idea. Obviously, that's again something, because there's a lot of layers, as you can see, and I can, you know, I have everything on layers, because the thing with Photoshop is certain effects, you know, layer blending, such as overlay and whatever, if you just combine them all together, it'll lose their actual effect. You know, if you combine overlay layer with a normal layer, everything will turn into a normal layer, and the effect will not stay the same unless you combine everything on a white or a big canvas, just colored, you know, big square that's just completely colored. That'll then stay the same. But otherwise, if you want, you know, a transparent background for this character, you need to make effects with, you know, different layer blendings on separate layers. Otherwise, it will just not, it will not work. It's impossible, as far as I have seen. So here I am doing the actual clothes that are on fire, and this is the actual part that I really like. So this look, you know, it turned out pretty good. You'll see for yourself, and you can, you know, you can be the judge. I think it turned out pretty cool, and it gets that feeling like, you know, she's been in an explosion or something. You know, she had to be in something connected to fire, considering her clothes are still a little bit lit up. But yeah. I think it turned out pretty nice, at least this bottom part, and you know, this character and this video is slowly coming to an end, so I'm gonna have to stop talking really soon. I know you probably really miss my voice every I'm sorry, through the entire week. I know you're just craving for my voice. No, but seriously, yeah, this video is gonna come to an end. Now you're just gonna see me do the sword. I always say the sword, it's actually a knife. The knife here tried different effects, nothing worked, and then I just went with the actual heated up blade, which that turned out to be awesome. But yeah, we still have about a minute left, maybe a little bit more, so I guess I can still talk a little bit more. I added in the little rune thing on the blade. The positioning didn't really work that well. I think it obscured too much of the blade, and then I just decided to make them really small. And yeah, this piece is now coming to an end. Just gonna change the hat a little bit, and I think that will actually be it, you know. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I also, by the way, before I end this video, what I tried to do there was make her be powdered with flour, but that didn't work out. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I had a lot of fun making it. You know, it really means a lot that you do watch these videos and leave feedback. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Everything I know about cooking is from 24 Kitchen, so don't blame me, alright? I didn't go online to see, you know, to learn.